coming to you live from the land of chlamydia-ridden koalas. It's time for Destiny Down Under.
Welcome to episode 242 of the Destiny Down Under podcast. I, as per every year, am Log Power Slave, joined by mustachioed fucking Lord with a, what is that, Matt? What are you drinking for the, I mean, I know it doesn't translate well to audio, but fuck it, show the people.
It's an espresso martini that I made in the quick break. As a famous YouTuber.
Famous. See, this is why people watch this shit. 1 minute in, already the crushing cell phones.
As a YouTuber, right?
Yeah, right.
Look, you know this, I know this. You go back to work in January and nobody ain't doing any fucking work, okay? Everyone, half the people still taking annual leave. Well, in Australia anyway. Half people still on annual leave. Your boss is on leave. Everyone's like on the go, slow. You already did the crunch coming up to Christmas. COVID's still fucking everyone over. Like, things are slow, right?
Yeah.
What do I get as a YouTuber? So that's what I'm saying is I'm still on holiday.
You get to not go to a fucking job. You get to stay at home in your fucking man cave drinking things that look like they came out of a sewer. That's what you get to do. While I'm back at fucking... I thought I was going to die on Monday. It was so fucked. Like 3 weeks. You know how like when you take too much time off and then you're like, I don't know how I'm ever going to go back.
Yeah,
I said to Rach on the Sunday night, I went, hey, I think I might just quit. Hey, like, I might just not go back. And she's like, that's not an option and you know it. I'm like, yeah, but like, I don't know. I'd find a way. Always land on my feet. But yeah, pretty rough.
The post-holiday blues is fucking rough, isn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty brutal. There's Danny. Hello, Danny.
Hello, Danny.
Yeah, it's real, man. But I mean, I figured out how you get out of like all of that massive ramp up before Christmas. You just take the week before Christmas as well. And then everyone else is like, and I come back and I'm like, I haven't been here in that long that I'm not even expected to know what the fuck's going on. So, yeah. But it's, get back into the swing of things. As much, podcast, everything comes back this week. So I think me and you were both ready to go last week, and then we realized that there was no TWAB and we had literally nothing to talk about. So it's like, yeah, we'll leave it.
The TWAB's pretty light this week too, eh?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a few points of contention that we're no doubt going to dive into discussing. It was nice for the Destiny community to give Hippie her first TWAB. This is the way it goes. Like, we'll fixate on one tiny piece of information and just have a complete and utter fucking meltdown about it.
Yeah, you can imagine
it's nice and authentic, but
I don't know. Do other countries call it a hospital pass? You call it in rugby? You call it a hospital pass?
Yeah, in league it's a hospital. Yeah, like where you are throwing a ball to someone in a worse position than you, and they are going to get destroyed. And it's when you pop the ball up in the air, and they literally have to sit flat-footed, and the moment they catch it, they get absolutely flat. And it's got a hospital pass. Well, that's what the TWAB was. Yeah. Someone just gave 4 Hippie fucking hospital pass. Like, yeah, this will be good. Grade 1 stitch up. Just tell them this. The community. It's all right. We'll circle back in a couple of weeks and tell them why, but just tell them this bit first. I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting. I'm interested to see what it means. Like, I don't particularly like the idea of not being able to generate orbs using Masterwork. It's become pretty fundamental to the game, but I'm hoping that means that there's more power in the actual builds themselves So I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk about it in due course. Given it's been like a month, I don't know. Has it been a month? Probably a month, I imagine, since we last did this podcast, despite the fact that we talk a lot anyway. What have you been doing with your life?
Cleaning out baby rooms.
Danny's uploading fucking feet pics.
Yeah.
to Twitter.
Hobbit feet. Yeah.
Hobbit feet pics. You got to keep that shit for the OnlyFans, man. That's not
look, yeah. There's a couple of things I obviously need to get ready for incoming baby. We just did a big clean up and just chucked away so much shit, and it feels so wasteful. We gave a lot of stuff to good Sammys and salvos and that kind of stuff, but other bits, you know, they're not. They're
good.
Too old.
The shit that's not good enough to give away.
Yeah, and you end up just having to chuck it, and it's like, fuck me, it's so wasteful.
Do you guys have we have a thing here, it's called council cleanup or curbside cleanup, where you kind of everyone just dumps their shit out on the street all in one particular weekend, and then council will take 3 weeks to come and pick it up, and for that 3 week period, your whole suburb just looks like a fucking cyclone's gone through it. There's just shit everywhere. Yeah, you got to time it for that sort of stuff. So, I mean,
and the other thing is, it's too bad I don't have a toddler now, because I can make a literal cardboard a castle out of the amount of fucking cardboard I have right now. Because I bought the new desk, fucking new PC. I've got fucking cardboard cases coming out my fucking ears.
I'm still trying to get rid of my cardboard box of the fucking guitar that I bought in April. There's an entire wall in my garage. I'll go and take a picture of it later and send it to you, because, you know, whatever. That is just cardboard boxes, like Rachel's fucking desk for work, and just shit like that. Oh, man.
It's ridiculous, so I got to get rid of that. But I have been playing a lot of Tarkov outside of streaming, and it's got its hooks in pretty hard. I've been enjoying Escape from Tarkov again. They've had a really nice update, and they balance a lot of things in Escape from Tarkov, which essentially is just limited how often people can get meta stuff, whether it's armor or weapons and whatever. And it's made a huge difference. You get into proper gunfights now. It's really enjoyable, and Etz has got his hooks. It's got its hooks deep in Etz. Etz is fucking.
He's as bad as you were the first time round.
Yeah,
you know, when you're sitting here and I'm talking to you on the podcast, and you could kind of see that you were 20% concentrating on what was going on, and then the other 80% of your brain was thinking about Tarkov shit in the background. I get that vibe from Etz. He's away. He's traveling at the moment. He will be chewing.
Well, he's messaged me going, how much, because you get insurance, right? If you drop your gear, it can come back.
Yeah.
You have a limited time to pick it up. So it has the same vibes as, can you log into my Destiny account and pick up the fucking...
the shit from Zer, Do a Zer run for me.
Can you do a Zer run for me?
Is that an account recovery these days? Can you do that? Surely it's all right still. I don't know.
You know the greatest stitch up would be to do a Zer run for your mate, then dob him in.
No one mentioned that. We'll wait until Sassy's traveling again.
Get his account deleted.
Yeah,
got him.
We've been really mean to him over Christmas. I mean, at least I have. I think you have as well.
You have to. He's like a younger brother.
True. Yeah. We decided. We said to Sass this morning, Sass, you're not coming on the podcast again until we actually make a piece of content. So we just treat him mean, keep him keen, I suppose.
Yeah, it's because we love you. Yeah,
it's true. I mean, over Christmas and all that, I had a good Christmas. Did you have a good Christmas? I don't know. I mean, it feels weird to talk about this because we're speaking on fucking Boxing Day about it. So
yeah,
it is.
That was
what
good
it is.
Christmas. Yeah.
We managed to get away, fucking going and see some family and all that sort of stuff without being too risky with all the COVID shit that's going on here. So. Do you have COVID in fucking WA yet? Is that a thing? Or is it still 1985 there?
Yeah, it's based in 1985. We had Omicron last night for the first time. There's been a community outbreak, but I think it's been under control pretty quick. Yeah, we're just locked down over there. We're just life is normal. I know it's really shitty for me to rub that in, but
no, it's fine. Like, I'm happy for you. It's fucking
no
weird
masks,
here, man.
everything's
weird
open.
Here, man.
But we're gonna get. The thing is, we're gonna get slammed as soon as we open the borders.
Yeah. I mean, I'd just be running somewhere else because it's like, I don't know. Wait until we get through it, and then go to one of the other states where they're gonna have capacity in the hospitals and stuff.
Like WA's the entire fucking west side of the country, you know, like we've got like not one, but we've got, you know, a couple major hospitals in Perth. That's it. Like if you get COVID and you're fucking in Geraldton, good luck, cunt.
Yeah, and I mean that's the scary part of it. I think we're far enough in that we're all right.
Like good luck driving 5 hours with COVID. But I hope your symptoms aren't too bad.
Yeah, I know heaps. Like I went from like before Christmas, I knew one person here that had it, and now I know about 50. So it's kind of like, I mean, some of our mates have had it. It's fucking, I know like half of my work has had it. So I'm like, fuck this. I'm just being super cautious and trying to work from home as much as I can. So I don't know. I mean, it feels to me, Australia has been very, very blessed going through all of this. And I'm not saying this to rub this in anyone's face if you've been in the States or whatever, but you know, there was a good year of COVID where it was, for us, it was just like, oh, okay, well, shit, there's 4 cases when they're all in hotel quarantine, and we go about life as normal for a significant portion of it. You know, I understand now the massive amount of anxiety that people living in other countries where it sort of never has fucked off.
Yeah.
You know, what
you can see where the frustration comes from.
Yeah, and look, and I'm definitely an angrier man right now than I have been in recent years. So I guess we'll see where that leads, and I'll try not to let it out on Twitter too much. But hey, anyway, moving on. We had the Witch Queen trailer earlier in the week.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that? Because
mate,
it bit me.
I was doped up because I was like, finally, a bit of lore. I can make a video in a day. I don't have to go read.
Don't have to go read all the notes through the fucking Grasp of Avarice and then watch Goonies to try and work out what it means.
True.
I was kind of. When was that last week or something? Because I was sitting in that stream while you were working all that shit out and like all the fucking references in it, and I'm like, I would have missed 90% of them. But I guess like it's the tiny little ones that mean something to someone else that maybe, you know, I've missed because I'm a bit older or whatever. It's cool. It's cool. It's a cool bit of content. You've soloed that on.
Yeah,
all
actually that was the main. No, I haven't done all characters. I did the solo flawless. Took more time than it probably should have taken me to do, but it is very achievable. And at first, I didn't really like Grass. Not that I didn't like it. I didn't think it was the best dungeon. Now that I've seen like speed running strats, I really like Grasp of Avarice because there's a lot of sections you can cut heaps of time out, and it almost feels like they made that dungeon for that sword for people to sword skate because there's so many open areas that you could just fucking zoom around in. It's like that's what they wanted you to do.
I hope that goes some way towards bridging the gap in the toolkit that speedrunners have had since sort of Worldline was nerfed. I don't know that it has. I haven't spoken to anyone, and I'll probably reach out and ask people that are closer to that sort of thing. But I mean, it's like a, you know, like clearly it's a sword, but it's also anything with eager edge we're talking about is you're going to be able to zoom with it. I'm shit ass at it. I'm so bad at it. I watch you do it, and I'm like, how the fuck is Matt, who's historically shitter at everything in Destiny than me, able to do this? And I'm splattering myself on fucking walls.
Do you know what you do? You try to do it on Hunter first because that combo's way fucking harder, and then you go to Titan and it's super easy.
And it's super easy, righto. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know that I'll lower myself to jumping on a Hunter, but I'll work it out one way right now. I don't know. I mean, I think we've done. Did we do Grasp before we broke up? I think we did. We'd spoken about it, but I love that. I really, really love that dungeon. The only thing I'm like sick to death of doing is that mid section where you've got to do all the servitors and launch them into the middle to like, holy fuck.
Yeah, the thing with that is
do that
like,
again.
Yeah, but like, that's what I'm saying, right? That open area becomes a lot quicker when you start sword skating. Because you just basically zoom between them. Like you don't have to.
Them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
You can make every jump.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that. Oh, yeah. Because there's tall buildings.
Yeah, if you get the surface at the top first, you can basically zoom to every other part.
I'm gonna have to give it a look. But I have enjoyed doing it. Like, don't get me wrong. It's novel. It's cool. It's something different. So
yeah,
that's good. What else has happened in Destiny before we dive into like looking forward?
I did fucking sparrow races in the dungeon.
Oh, yeah, actually, I'm going to talk to you about this too. But you tell your story, and then I'll give you my proposal. All right.
Right. So when all the sword skating stuff came out, I don't know why we started to do the sparrow races. I can't remember the lore of it, but I just thought it'd be fun because you've essentially got a mechanism to kill yourself because you can press the trap and then you could third person perspective of people. So we ran a sparrow race. Oh, I know why. You know what started it? I was doing the sparrow race on the broom.
Yeah, and you couldn't do it.
And that tweet did viral, and every fucking dude was like, "Why don't you use what's it called? The fucking always on time."
Yeah.
And I don't have always on time. And then I was like, "Fuck you! This is actually way harder than you think if you don't have always on time." So I said, "Okay, then let's do a sparrow race. You're not allowed to use always on time." Dude, we only had like 5 people out of 50 that actually could do it without that sparrow because they hadn't practiced it. Not that they couldn't do it. They just hadn't practiced it.
Yeah. And
then they just died instantly. And I only gave people 1 shot. And then once people realized like, oh, you can't do the same pathing as always on time, we did better. Anyway, we ended up doing sparrow races. It had like a stop clock up on screen and everything. And we gave away money for people who came first and second place. And we did no always on time. We did green sparrows. We did sword skating, which Sutek had this fucking insane sword skate
he's an
run.
Animal. Like he's been the find of that. That whole sort of like tournament. He outshone just about everyone else.
Do you know who his fucking brother is?
Yeah, I found out. It's disappointing.
Gassy. They
clearly got all
like
of the
$500 from me in a week.
Assholes. Just back charge them.
They're great.
I mean, they're taking your money. You're the fucking loser here.
Yeah, true.
Good on them. Good on them. Good eggs.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
All right, here's the idea, right? And I thought about this last week. Did you see the skip in Lake of Shadows? Last week, where you could sparrow all the way out and around and blah, 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 and come in and miss like 3 champions or some shit.
Did you talk to Sassy about this?
Oh, it was my idea, and then Sassy probably stole it and told you.
He showed me a sparrow racing loop using Lake of Shadows.
Yeah. Yeah. So I reckon you could nearly, if you start, right, go and clear that section of the track.
Yeah.
You can kill yourself and then watch 2 people race.
Yeah, I did say that. My issue with that track is the Grasp Avarice is like a minute if you complete it.
The other one's fucking long.
Yeah, and like 20 seconds if you fail because you often fail pretty early.
Yeah.
And
it's pretty rapid.
We had 50 contestants and it took me like a whole stream to get through them, right?
Yeah, but you could be racing 2 against each other.
Yeah, it's true.
And then you can like eliminate. If you lose, you're out. If you win, you're through.
We just need road rash. You need to be able to kick people on the sparrows. That would be so funny.
All right, you should be able to shoot like guns, like fucking aim off the side.
Give me Mario Kart Destiny, please.
Yes. Where will we get a mushroom? You'd be a beast at it. I mean, look, I don't know. I think it's something novel, and it's like everyone wants fucking SRL back. Whenever you speak to anyone about it, it's one of those things that's so nostalgically remembered. I think anything we can do to try and bring a little bit of that back, I think is a winner.
Yeah, that thing is, I just ran out of things to do. I guess, like ways to run it, different ways to run it.
True. All right. Well, what we might do now, jump into the top. Then Maddie might talk about a little bit of
Lord.
That's like your 20-minute warning to pull up your notes. So you've got no excuse. He's on it.
I'm on it.
All right. So how to tackle this top? Hang on, we're gonna do this. The sting. There you go. Cop that fucking 10-second clip of music.
Oh, do you know what we didn't say as well?
What?
I did a bloody game show too, mate.
You did do a game show.
First game show. DCP.
PCP, Rin jumped into, didn't you?
But Rin replaced Briar because Briar had something else on.
That's all right. I mean,
yeah. Big Pog.
I haven't seen it. I'm trying to remember when that happened because it somehow fell off my radar because I think you were asking me if I was around and then I'm like, nope. I can't.
It would have been just before Christmas because it was before our Christmas party for DCP.
It's pretty crazy times. So I think that's great. Is it something you're going to look to do more of? Like,
yeah, I mean, originally I was like, oh, I'm going to do this every week.
Fucking hell. That sounds like me and you, though. Like, it's like me. I'm going to do a new Destiny cover every week.
My favorite thing to listen to.
5 ever.
My favorite thing to listen to is your YouTube videos that end in, or if you like this cover, like, go and subscribe for weekly Destiny cover songs.
You know what the funny thing is? I did Risen, and then it was over a year before I uploaded anything again. So maybe I should just change it and go back in there and edit it. Yearly content.
Yeah. Just dub it.
Yearly content.
Yeah. Yeah, like really out of sync sort of deal.
Next game show needs to be DDU versus DCP. Yeah, but like if Matt's the fucking host, it's just me by myself against all of the DCP.
I actually reckon you would beat DCP in a lore off.
You reckon I by myself would beat DCP in a lore off?
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Is that because I've just been absorbing your brain by osmosis for longer?
Yes.
Not that I'm literally inherently smarter in any way, because that's completely false. I'm not bringing Sassy. If Sassy makes some content, then we'll get Sassy on there.
Sassy has probably... Actually, you know what? I was going to say he never watches... He actually does watch my videos. He just doesn't talk about them. He listens to them in the car on the way to work and stuff.
That's dangerous. He'll end up falling asleep and running in the back of a truck. Don't do that, Sass. I'll feel really bad if that happens now. All right. Artifact mods update. Now, I'm just trying to think of how best to tackle this because there's a lot of walls of text. I probably should have went in and fucking... Right, I'm just going to read it. Fuck it. I'll be quick.
Just read it.
Artifact mods have been a huge talking point in our community, and with the next season, we're making a few changes that will bring back some popular anti-champion mods while also making some tweaks to the way Masterwork armor works. Here's a rundown from the team on what players can look forward to in Season 16. Season 16? Fuck, that's gone quick.
You know, right. I really wish that they didn't call it Season 16. They just call it by whatever the season is. I don't remember the numbers.
Yeah, I'll lose track. It's like, when people are planning shit at work and they're like, oh, in week 27, we're going to do this. I'm like, fucking, when the fuck is that, man? Like, just say the fucking second week of June or some shit. I don't know, in week 20, we got to count from the start of the year. Fuck that. One, and then, I don't even know what week we're in now. We're like, it's probably fucking 3 or something.
True.
Fucking idiots. All right, team. One of the consistent pieces of feedback that we've been wanting to act on for a while involves the unlocking of artifact mods. Season 16.
Yeah.
Starting in Season 16, players will no longer be limited to a number of artifact mods they can unlock. Thank fuck. I added the thank fuck. That's not actually in there. This means that players could feasibly unlock all 25 artifact mods by the end of the season. While we have made some small adjustments to the amount of XP required to unlock artifact mods, 1 to 12 in general, the pacing will basically remain the same. For each unlock after... What's that?
The word feasibly.
Yeah. It never pans out that way, does it?
Feasibly is
a scary word for we don't really know. Probably.
Yeah, it means like you might not unlock You may not unlock.
You may well not unlock, but it's in the realm of possibility that you will.
But you can reset, so it's fine. It's not like.
Yeah, I think that's the worst part of that system is just the cost.
The cost of resetting is ridiculous.
I mean, ultimately, you'll have, watch a fucking Fallout video on which ones are the best ones. Get those 12 first, and then for each unlock after 12th, increase XP will be required. So it's going to take longer. Yeah,
you end up like I do anyway, because I've been mucking around with builds. You end up, not having the right ones on, because there's usually a good handful of mods that will only work with specific builds. You usually have the two ones at the end, like the particle deconstructor and the focusing lens, which are just like your most powerful. But then there's other stuff like that are really specific to like a GM or like stunning champions or weakening champions or something like that. And,
I reckon the way to do it is to like bust through to the fucking final column. Right, and then get all of that, and then work your way back. Because, like, in that front column, there's normally like 2 or 3 maybe that you'll rarely ever use. And there's like options like multiple unstops or whatever. Yeah. I reckon that's the way to run it. I mean, I kind of feel like it should be a big laborious process to unlock all of it, though. Like, that's fine.
I don't mind working for it. It's just about the balance, and I think like typically Bungie goes on grind more than balance.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Look, this season has been exceptionally
They're more
long,
likely to make it like fucking super hard, and then people complain, and then scale it back, then make it too easy.
Hit you with the big feasibly. It's feasible.
We tell you it was feasibly.
It was also feasible that someone was going to complete fucking Last Wish raid inside of a day, and 12 people did at all.
Yeah, 0.0005 people feasibly got the artifact unlocked.
They won't be that cruel. I have faith.
No, hopefully not.
All right. When it comes to the artifact mods themselves, we're bringing back a few perennial favorites. Isn't perennial like, I know that perennial means like ones that are always favorites, but is that in any way related to the perennium?
Yeah, you're thinking of the fucking taint, and that's not the right one.
Yeah, I'm like, that sounds like a word that shouldn't be in a TWAB. I don't know. Anyway, so anti-champion mods, we're straight back.
You're thinking of the bit between the balls and the anus.
Yeah, thinking of the gooch. We're bringing back a few gooch favourite anti-champion mods, including anti-barrier scout rifle and bows. And done some work making disrupting an overload champion more reliable than in previous seasons. So maybe you'll be able to stun one at all. It's okay. We're just going to ignore Matt's death and move on like that hasn't happened, kids. Don't look at him. Don't look at his silly face. He's... You like your face is collapsing into him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, all right. To take a little bit of pressure off Vault Space, we're also making some adjustments to the way Masterwork armors work. Basically, the long and short of that is they're reducing the cost massively on what it takes to swap the element. So I think that's a good change.
The devil's driveway.
Don't. Chad, I ask that you refrain from punching alternate names for a gooch.
The
devil's driveway. I haven't heard that.
Oh God, please no. Okay, well, we got told about a couple of mods.
What's that? 20 minutes in, broken. There we go.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so you'll be able to swap over your armor, the flavor of your armor.
Oh, sorry, that's huge. Yeah, that is huge. The elemental.
I've got a lot of shit that like I do that a bit, like change. You know, I try to avoid changing the charge now because it's just so fucking expensive. So I've got a heap of shit that's like I've got really great rolls in things. And then I've got like this second rung of like stuff that I've masterworked that's shit, but just because it's a different flavor.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I can go through and delete all of that shit so that and then I can just change as I need to, I think, I mean, for me, that'll be a massive difference to my vault space, but I run one character and I am not struggling for vault space at all. So I'm not really going to speak to that. All right, here we go. Hold on to your devil's driveway, Matt. Don't do it. Don't do it on screen, please. TOS. Closing out, we are also making a change to the way Guardians create and ponder orbs of power with weapons. Elements of the new weapon crafting system will encourage you to use many different weapons and ask you to burn hard-earned Masterwork materials on a weapon that you may only be using for a few hours, just to generate orbs. That seems like a tall order. This, combined with our desire to act on consistent feedback that players want to be able to generate orbs of power with exotic weapons that do not have a catalyst, led us to the implementation that we'll be using in the Witch Queen and beyond. Orb generation on weapon multi-kills will no longer be a function of a weapon's Masterwork status, but will instead be provided by a suite of armor mods, which are unlocked automatically for all players and which plug into the helmet armor mod socket. Each such mod will apply the orb generation effect to all weapons you have equipped of a particular damage type, so a single mod will cover multiple weapons in your arsenal if they share the same damage type, so arc, soul or whatever.
Kinetic.
So, I mean, I guess it adds a little bit of utility to Osmosis if you really want to get the most out of it. We will continue to create exciting exotic catalysts over the next few seasons. That's good. But in the meantime, you'll be able to generate orbs with Cloud Strike, Thorn, Thunderlord, Taraba, and any other weapon in the game. And at this point, Twitter went, Rah! And I think, not necessarily incorrectly so. I totally understand why people read this and go, fucking what? But also don't think it's the end of the world. Maddie, how do you feel about it?
Obviously I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I do understand that it's not the full picture yet, and we're still waiting for more information. And I do understand from talking to Chris Proctor that they didn't want to cluster the guns with any more mods. That was one of the reasons why you didn't have some catalysts. It didn't have an additional slot on exotics to give orbs, or like the way with when it didn't have a catalyst. So, and you can also see what they're trying to do. I mean, it looks like weapon crafting is going to make, there's going to be grinding weapon. That's when I read that, I'm like, okay, we want to make you make a lot of orbs with different guns. Yeah. So you can see how they try to solve that problem and make that a little bit less, difficult. Yeah, so
you're not going to have to masterwork a shitload of guns to get to the point that they can generate orbs. Yeah. You'll just have a mod on your helmet.
Yeah. Yeah. I think overall, and this is what I tweeted this morning, I think there's a bigger issue with the armor mod system now. And I really feel like the armor mod system has outgrown what it initially was, and it's really evolved, and it's quite complex now. And you have lots of different options and varieties to make really cool builds.
Yep.
And anytime something is put onto an armor mod that almost makes players feel like they need to use it.
Looking at you, protective light.
Yeah, I mean, protective light's up there, but also
high energy fire.
Well, I mean, not even that, even the basic stuff. I mean, this is going to take up a slot for ammo finder, and I guess there's a bigger conversation like, why do we still have ammo finder? Like at the beginning, right, we didn't have anything else, but now we've got what mine cells, we've got charged with light builds, we've got elemental, we've got stasis stuff. Like we've got stuff that can go in these slots, or sorry, not the slots, but it should be used towards the points on that armor, rather than bringing you up to what I think is essentially baseline when you put on things like ammo finder and scavenger and reserves. It's like, why are we wasting points and slots and those things? And I feel like that is what's hamstringing this system in general. And I think producing, to be honest, I think this would be okay if they actually got rid of ammo finder and that, because it is on par with elemental wells, because you were getting it for free before. Elemental wells, you need to have a mod on to produce elemental wells.
Yeah, I mean, that's very true.
Whereas you got orbs for free. You got orbs for free from your Masterwork, right? I think the issue is there's so many other mods that feel like essentials, and you feel like you're not even at baseline to do end game activity, especially Grandmasters, where heavy ammo and special ammo is very essential unless you have someone running Aeons that's consistently doing finishes to produce that for you, which, by the way, I'm completely fine if that's what's required for a strat. But I think the issue comes from people. There's no point having a system that's meant to be flexible if everyone feels like they're forced into using the same mods.
I think the other thing that really that strikes me every time I go in to sit down and just fuck around with things, right? Like, I mean, I'll watch build videos, like I watch Errol stuff and all of that, and I enjoy that stuff because it's like I think there's a lot of similarities between that system now and the way it works, and sort of like the stuff you were doing way back when in Destiny 1 when it was just in the Grimoire and wasn't fucking explained, right? Because there is no, in any sense of the word, tutorial for here's how to build something, right? Like, there is no fucking there is nothing. I don't know what the fuck's going on with this.
I'm losing voice on you. I don't know if that's just me or if that's
Nah, there's some gremlin going fucking AWOL in my PC. So anyway, very good, very, very handy.
You said it was, last thing I heard was it was similar to Grimoire and...
Yeah, I mean, it's a big part of Destiny.
What I was doing
that is
okay, now it keeps kicking in every time.
Yeah,
every time you go to say it keeps kicking in.
I don't even know what the fuck's causing it. It's not explained in the game at all, right? There is no... there is no tutorial, there's no guide, there's no descriptions of what stacks with what or what works with what or anything like that. Fucking annoying.
You know what I should be?
What's that?
There should be we've had the same bounties forever. It should give you an part of the quest line. Go make elemental wells. So when people jump into a season,
the whole thing is just shitting itself.
Building stuff. Yeah, your microphone's complete fine. It just keeps going in and out.
Yeah, it's cutting you in and out as well. I don't know what's going on. Hang on. We'll just see. It seems to have settled for a minute. I don't think it's the internet. I think it's like some fucking USB device has just picked up COVID and is intermittently killing itself. Anyway, moving on. We'll persevere. Just keep going.
I froze. Maybe it's me. Is it me?
It seems to have worked out. No, it's something on my end. I'm going to, look, something's being weird. All right. It seems to have fucked off.
Gotcha. I thought I was frozen, didn't you?
No, we could see if you were moving. All right. Okay. Now that the distraction of whatever that shit was is over. Yeah, I really do think that it's a poorly sort of... I'm not going to say it's poorly implemented, but it's really... There's no hand-holding there, and I feel like maybe simplifying that would be worthwhile, because you load up any bit of gear and there is just shit everywhere, and there's 20 fucking options, and you have to sit and read manually through what all of them do. Especially if you've been playing for several seasons now, and when you've got Warmind stuff and all of this sort of stuff, Warmind, Charged with Light, Elemental Wells, 3 completely separate systems that don't really, they can work together in some specific ways, but I don't know. I hope they simplify it is what I'm getting at, I think.
I don't think simplifying is needed. I think it's about introducing it to new players, because there's no real introduction to it.
Yeah, true.
And there's an argument that you don't need to explain everything to players, and that's part of the fun of games, is working it out. And if you're playing a loot and shooter, you're probably familiar with that. But I don't think there's anything wrong with making some bounties or quest steps that make you look at whatever mod. We're getting mods in, Season of Lost, we got the stasis mods in the what's it called?
In the
Wayfinder's Compass
sort of thing,
right?
Yep.
That could have been a quest step just to introduce people to at least look at them and start using them. But I still think there's a bigger issue with, and I don't think we'll ever go away with these mods that feel like essentials And there's obviously really clear mods that are very strong too, like Protective Light as well, which made me feel like maybe they're trying to nerf Protective Light and
I feel like that's probably gonna at some point be part of it. I mean, the other thing too is that like the Masterworks of Orbs in the Crucible, right? Like it makes getting up like high energy fire in the Crucible much more difficult because, you know, like basically you're waiting for someone to super to generate orbs for you. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I assume people are still going to wear this mod that gives you the helmet mod that gives you the ability to generate orbs. So I'm not sure that it really fixes either of them. It's just that you need to increase your mod spend to be able to do it.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think Destiny has the potential to be one of the greatest build types of games because it's already an amazing shooter. There's already amazing depth when it comes to different subclasses. And that's only going to get more complex as we get Void 3.0. And if you see some of the crazy shit you can do on Stasis with the fragments and aspects, like the last real frontier for me is just sorting out armor mods.
Yeah.
And if they get that right, Destiny is so complex and fun to make builds between your gun rolls, your armor mods, and like Stasis like fragments and aspects for all classes. It's pretty nutty.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, you look at the hammer build that we've been using sort of over the Christmas break.
So fun.
Like, and it's just stupidly fun to be able to just go in and belt the living shit out of anything with your little Thor hammer as a Titan. And like 9 times out of 10, you'll kill everything outright with one hammer throw. And the second you get into a nasty boss, you pull out your bloody tractor cannon and your 1-2 punch shotgun and fucking do the same thing to them. This is a little bit of a sequence there that you need a bit of muscle memory that you need to develop to cycle through it. But you like what Matt did to the ogre in Grasp of Avarice was disgusting.
You know what's disgusting, Log?
What's that?
Me making a 60-second YouTube short on one phasing the ogre with the hammers, which was not new, by the way. Many people have already done before me, and it getting 200,000 views on YouTube shorts.
I think it's good. Look, it's another string for the bow, mate. It's fucking unreal. And how about the infinite hammers that we learned about and just made it.
Yeah, that one got like 40,000 views or something.
Yeah, it's probably because I was in it, just dragging it down. Feel bad about that. It's good fun though. And for anyone just catching up, if you throw a hammer right at your hammer bro's back, if you hammer your bro in the back, if you hammer your bro from behind, sorry, I should say, they get their hammer charge back instantly, and you also get it back. So you can basically stand there like fucking Super Mario, throwing the hammers into your friends, while 5 of them, if they're standing close enough, can all just throw fucking infinite hammers. Yeah. So we managed to kill Atheon with them, which I didn't think we were going to do, but you know, it turned out that what was the most deadly part of it was the explosion of all the hammers that was sitting on the ground below him.
That was so good.
Anyway. All right, so I mean that's really the contentious part of the TWAB over and done with. I guess we'll see like what comes of it. In I don't know. I mean, I have faith that like they know that this is a pretty fundamental part of the system, and then it like for people it feels like shit to have. You know, it's like that rug that's in your house that you're always walking over the top of, and then someone comes along and goes, yeah, they just remove it. And you're like, what the fuck's going on? It doesn't feel right. It's pretty fundamental. So I imagine that they're not taking lightly the ability, taking that off the guns. And there'd be a reason behind it. Prime gaming stuff. Yeah, there's some cool emotes. Cool. We don't really need to go through that. Here you are. Look, have a look. That's what you're getting out of your Prime, your Bezos gaming. Very cool. And play support. Is there anything cool in there? No. Right. Let's just piss off. All right, Matty, we can talk about a bit of lore. And what do you want to do? Do you want to do Grasp, or do you want to look forward to the Witch Queen stuff? Because I haven't seen any of the Witch Queen stuff. I'm more interested in that if I'm honest.
Oh, let's do the Witch Queen.
Yeah.
And
we'll talk about it with the trailer.
And I can tell you a couple of the major Easter eggs in Grasp of Avarice if we got time.
Righto, let's do that.
Okay. Right. So trailer breakdown. I didn't go over everything, but let me give you the main points. We see the pyramid ship in the swamp again.
Yeah.
We know this is the raid location. We know there's something imprisoned inside, and that's about all we know. A lot of people, I didn't mention this in the video, but a lot of people have been saying because we see Mars, right? You know, the previous show we saw Mars?
Yeah, yeah.
And Mars is gone, right? So how the fuck's that happening?
Yeah.
So people are thinking like there's an anomaly where Mars is. People are thinking that maybe to get into Savathun's throne, it's got to combine some section of like going into that anomaly, and we might find Mars there, and maybe somehow that the pyramid ship of Mars will be there too, and that's in Savathun's throne. That's how it's all got linked together.
Yeah, okay. Like so that she's. I mean, I don't know. How does that work? Like, is that the in her throne world, right? Like, because I the part of this that I've struggled to understand is it an actual space or is it something she's effectively conjuring? Like, and does that mean that like pyramid ship is a pyramid ship that she's kind of made up and put there, or she's actually got a real pyramid ship and trapped it there? Like,
I don't know. I think that's the thing about Savathun's throne world we don't understand yet, because the throne worlds have sort of functioned in different ways. Oryx's throne world was very different because he combined it with the Dreadnought, and his throne world and Dreadnought were like one and the same.
yeah.
So we don't know what Savathun's sort of spin is on a throne world. And the only thing we know is that it's indistinguishable from her own mind. So whether it's, I'm assuming it's just another space created from her thoughts, so to speak. And
Yeah, I mean, like I would. I mean, you'd contend that Oryx's was basically the same thing. He just lacked the imagination. Like it was more like form of function than, you know, the clearly ornate stuff that we're seeing. You know, like all the sort of like cathedral-esque buildings and stuff that are in Savathun's throne world that we're looking into now. I think with Oryx being the, you know, the big powerful, you know, warrior, like everything was more utilitarian, and I think that largely we're probably seeing the same thing. It's a space that they've conjured in their own image or, you know, purposes.
And along that note, it's interesting because in the trailer you probably saw a statue of Oryx fighting Akka.
Yeah, like that's it. Make me that. I'll buy that, and it will go on. Sure.
Fucking cool, isn't it?
Reminded me of the statue that's at the end of I think the second Avengers, where they're all fighting the Ultrons. Like yeah, give me that marble statue.
So
please.
You know that's in the books. It's in the Grimm. Have you heard of the Grimm Anthology?
No, never heard of it. No.
Well, it's in book 1 of the Grimm Anthology.
Cool. Yeah.
No,
it's cool.
No,
it's probably the most epic piece of artwork of like Destiny artwork I've ever seen. It's got sort of that like real classic art like
my claim to fame with this piece is that I was very lucky in when we'd basically drafted the book. Bungo was like, Matt, write some comments on what you want the artist to draw. Right? So I went through the book, the anthology, and just left comments in the margin. This would be basically translate. This would be fucking sick to see, and they just went off, and nearly all of them were taken into consideration. So one of the things is like, oh, can we see Courier Blade transform invading Oryx's throne? That's going to look badass. That got drawn. Can we see Oryx chopping up Akka? That got drawn. So that was like one of the little like side notes I had was like, can you please draw Oryx fucking up Akka? And it ended up in there.
There you go.
And now it's in the throne world.
That's pretty amazing.
So, and the artist is amazing. I keep forgetting his name. It's a hard pronounced name. P. Can't remember.
Let's not.
It's like a French name.
Yeah. Cool.
So I guess it either represents. I mean, if this is like Savathun's throne world, then, you know, obviously Oryx is her brother and has significance to her. So she has a memorial to him in some way, or it's like the history of the hive in some way, or, you know, there might be things in the throne world that represents. Yep, that's the name there. Piotr Jablonski. That's the one.
You did your best, Matt. Good job.
Yeah. So that could be a reason, or it could be maybe that represented when Oryx became the Taken King, right? After he killed Akka.
Yeah, true. I mean, that was.
He made the Tablets of Ruin, became the Taken King. So maybe this represents, if he became the Taken King, that's his significant point in time. Well, this is Savathun's like turning point, become the Witch Queen. So
yep.
Pretty cool. Now, you would know chemistry. You would have seen these.
I look.
I got so angry.
I saw Scaro like just all over it, and I'm like, man, look, my chemistry and that chemistry are considerably different, but I'm yet to sit down and really have a crack at it and have a look. I like it though. I like where it's leading.
Well, if you saw, like Xenon, like XE,
yes,
in brackets, and then I think it was like FE superscript 4, and then a couple more.
Yeah, well, that's what iron.
Yeah. Okay. So what is that? What is that little like thing? What do you call that?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
That description.
I'm pretty sure it's osmium, like, isn't it?
Yeah, but like, what is that formula called? I guess.
Oh, it's a chemical equation.
Well, yeah, it's. Oh, we fought for fucking hours of this. I was like, oh, it's because I don't know it, and I was looking at a periodic table. It's like, oh, it's the electron configuration. Then Tassie gets in. Well, actually, it's a noble gas. It's the closest noble gas. Noble gas electron configuration. I know, actually, then someone's like, oh, actually, it's more accurate to call it the the electron orbital shorthand.
Yeah, I mean, like, they're all right. It just depends on what convention you're using, like, and how you want to go about it.
I didn't know what that is, but there is literally 2 frames in the trailer that has the electron orbital shorthand for osmium. And osmium is Savathun's dad, the osmium throne.
Yeah, so that's their history, right? Their origin.
So it sends you on the path that they're using the periodic table to provide hints that there's a hint in this frame. So it has the osmium. On the right-hand side, there's 7 worms around like an orb. It almost looks like a ghost, or the sun, or when you look at it, to me, it looks like there's hive worms around the light, like they're eating the light. So it's sort of, when you take the osmium and you take that, it's like, okay, hive guardians. That's what this is hinting at. And then there's a bunch of other numbers on the screen in those 2 frames. There's 16, which is the atomic number for sulfur. There's 80, which is the atomic number for mercury. It also has the atomic mass for sulfur on there, which is 32.066. And it also has the...
I need to look at this, fuck.
it has the alchemy symbol for salt. Now, I don't know how much you know about alchemy, but...
Sass and I had an argument about alchemy the other night.
Did you?
Yeah.
What did you argue about?
Oh, he was like, oh, it's like we were just arguing about what alchemy is, and I'm like, alchemy is like turning shit stuff into good stuff, really, in terms of like medical transfiguration, metal, metallic, sorry, yeah. And he was like, oh yeah, but it extends beyond that. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. Fuck off. But
yeah, well, early, you know, look, I don't know enough about the history of alchemy, but there's definitely like a moment in time, right, where it was more magical than it was scientific. And then...
Oh, yeah.
And then it was borderline scientific, and then it was probably the precursor to chemistry, right?
Yeah.
So if you go and look at alchemy, though, the 3... Do I call them elements? The 3 elements listed on that slide are called the 3 primes: sulfur, mercury, and salt. They're like the 3 initial elements that they thought was important for turning lead to gold. Was that everything was made of these compositions of sulfur, mercury, and salt, right? And every Guardian class, I'm pretty sure Titans have the salt. Remember seeing the NaCl on their armor?
Yeah.
And I think the Warlocks have sulfur and the Hunters have mercury. So they're doubling down on this idea of alchemy being involved. And if you put the whole picture together, you got alchemy, you got osmium, you got hive guardians. So I guess
so
like the theme is scientific magic to create Hive Guardians.
Yeah, or to, I don't know. I mean, if you take it a step further, and that, the image you're talking about of the worms feeding the light, and the reference back to osmium, which being the osmium core, maybe it's about like Savathun trying to mimic what we've done and use both sides of the light, right? Like the light and the dark, and maybe that's her way of like feeding the worms the light instead of having them be fed from her power, and harnessing that to then become limitless in a way. I don't know. Maybe
because like the other thing was not just led to gold, right? It was like the philosopher's stone too. Like immortality was the other aspects of like alchemy. So it fits pretty well with like Savathun.
Yeah, what she's ultimately trying to do, right? Like
her end goal. Yeah, her end goal. Yeah.
It'll be fucking interesting. I feel like there's going to be twists.
Pretty cool and pretty funky that it was like there was no shit. Like if you watch the trailer, you know how you can go frame by frame on YouTube.
Yeah,
it's in like 2 frames.
Look, that's classic Bunch. Oh, whenever this sort of shit comes up though, like I just want to know who did it. Like who thought it up, because it always seems so deep that you're like, holy fuck. I mean, even when you think back to like the Niobe Labs stuff and all of that.
Yeah, but
like, have they got like some kind of fucking 5D chess master thinker like in a tank bed?
No, it's just like you remember like Rise of Iron, one of the persons in the narrative team had like a PhD in medieval history or something.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so I'm looking at you. There's some dude will do that at Bungie with a chemist background. And I fucking know what you're doing here. Otherwise, it's probably just alchemy. Like that's medieval.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, they're leading into that like clearly, and like I think like the theme is probably less around like, I mean, of course the chemical stuff is important, but I'd say that like that alchemical arcane transformation is what like largely the intended theme of it all. And and I think how big that goes, because obviously it happens with Savathun, because we know, and the hive that she's like in control of, because they start wielding the light, like something fundamentally changes. So how far that goes, and maybe the story we're going to find ourselves in is maybe stopping that before it goes too far. That interests the little Jimmy's off me.
Yep. Yeah.
Cool.
And the last major interesting thing is we already spoke about the throne world is indistinguishable from our own mind. So that's not something not something crazy new, because the Witch Queen reveal, the Bungie stream Witch Queen reveal, the director spoke about that quite a lot. Like it's a world in the image of her own mind, sort of her ideal world kind of deal, and that's why she lives in a light castle. And everything else is in darkness. So that's not quite new, but it sort of doubles down on this idea that it's created in her image, which is cool because it gives the throne world a different aesthetic. It does look Hive, but it's not the Red Keep, and it's not
I mean,
the moon. It's not
ornate.
like greens. It's not like it's not like greens and fucking.
It's almost darkness. Pretty in a way. Like I think the like marble corridors and all of that sort of stuff, and even that bit where it's sort of like really dimly lit. And it's sort of like the ghost light pans up, and there's the really fucking creepy looking statues on the wall.
Yeah,
and like that would be oppressive if that's like like, because we haven't seen that for a while. Those like really traditional sort of suffocating hive environments. Like I mean, I guess we have in terms of presage, but I'd really like to see that. Like I think it'd be super cool. And yeah, you're right. It does speak of sort of a medieval theme, which I guess again ties into the alchemy sort of thing.
Yeah. And the last thing is we saw the Scorn in the trailer too, which was interesting because they're in her throne worlds. And my prediction most likely is that the Scorn are working for Ziva Wrath, and maybe Ziva Wrath, Savathun's sister, is still pursuing her, and they pursued her into the throne world, and we just happened to sort of bump heads in there. Very similarly to fighting the Scorn and the Hive and the Taken in the Shattered Realm this season, and they're all working together.
True. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. I didn't even put that together. But like, if that's seems to make perfect sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's a dialogue option in the Shattered Throne. In the Shattered Realm, that says, I think Petra's like, oh, that's weird. The Scorn and the Taken and the Hive are all working together. Why are they doing that? And then you see the Scorn Fight Club, which seems to be like sword logic. And then Mara's like, the Scorn are harvesting ascendant energy in that like little mini public event thing. It's like, oh, they must be working with someone. So it's sort of it's
leaving a breadcrumb trail about as subtle as a freeway to like point in that direction, isn't it?
I mean, the other thing people think of, and there's no real major connection apart from you see Mars, you see the Scorn, you think of the Anomaly, you think of Callus, and we haven't had a resolution to that. So I would love for there to be something about Callus, and if he's there, because I would guess Mars is there, there's a pyramid ship there, Callus went through the Anomaly. Maybe
he's the big bad in the raid.
I would love for that to be
like actual, like not robot Callus, but actual Callus, like full-blown pyramid darkness Callus.
Pyramid, if entity Callus is in the fucking raid, like a Callus possessed by the entity is in the raid, I will blow my load and delete my channel.
I'm growing fat with strength just thinking about it. TOS. Get out of it. Devil's Driveway. Fat with strength. It's too much. All right. We'll open up fucking questions. If you've got anything you want to ask, get onto it right now because we're not going to hang around for too long. We're turning over a new leaf. We're gonna aim for an hour, right? We're a minute over.
In and out.
So make it snappy. In and out. We're not mucking around. Right. Go.
Any questions?
Desk rises.
And while people ask questions, you keep a lookout, and I can just tell you a couple of the Easter eggs in the Grasp of Avarice.
Yes.
Of course, big Goonies reference, pirate themed.
Oh yeah.
You shoot the servitors like cannonballs in the Fallen Shield section.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Neither did I. Until someone told me. You got the Skull Cave. You got the message in the bottles. And I do think that Wilhelm, the Exo, is meant to be One-Eyed Willie. And, he's got crystals growing out of his eyes. He's in the same position as the Goonies. He's surrounded by his treasure, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
One of the Bungie devs liked a tweet that said, is this just a whole Goonies reference? And the tweet literally had 2 fucking likes on it, and one of them's a Bungie dev. So it's like...
I mean, look, there's far worse things you could base it on for sure. I mean,
I think it was Brendan Thorne that did that.
Yeah.
The other cool thing is, this is the coolest thing. This is going to blow your minds, right? Destiny 1. First mission in Destiny. You get the little assault rifle in that, like, in the Fallen, in the Cosmodrome or whatever it is. The wall.
Yeah.
And as soon as you come out of the wall, you see the catch spawn in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it flies overhead.
Yeah.
And knocks over a colony ship in the background. So when it spawns in, you see it. You see a colony ship fall over.
Yeah.
That colony ship is the loot cave. So if you go to Skywatch,
all right.
Listen. So if you go to Skywatch, they updated the skybox. And if you look to where that colony ship is on the map, where you saw it in Destiny 1, it's fallen down and there's a catch there now. And it's pulling out the ball. And the ball thing, the colony ships have the balls on top.
Yeah. Where the people go.
So the colony ship fell over, the ball's there, and the catch is pulling it out. That catch is new. That was not there before. In the dungeon, that's where Wilhelm is. He's inside that ball thing. And he's surrounded by his loot, which he's put into the pods. So the idea being, the original source of the loot cave and why there was so many engrams there is when the colony ship got pushed over, it would have contained heaps of engrams, right? Because it's a colony ship.
It spilled.
So it spilled its contents into the area. And that's what Wilhelm was collecting and picking up. And so The implication is you, the Guardian, witnessed the creation of the loot cave day one.
Very good. I like that. How cool it's subtle shit like that would just be completely missed. Like, I would have missed it. It was only Circadian Wolf, like, got down this rabbit hole for literally like a week, 2 weeks, talking to other people about it, and they put all this stuff together. I'm like, that is fucking cool. All right. One question, Austin. Do you think the real reason they got rid of Brother Vance is because he could tell that something was wrong with Osiris?
No, I think the real reason is Bungie wanted to limit their character cast. They said that.
Yeah, and they basically replaced him with Saint 14 anyway, right? Like, all things told, they brought back a fundamental character in the Destiny canon to replace, like, a guy that they ultimately made out to be a blind fanboy that was just doing it for the love of it. I mean, maybe he would have been able to pick that it wasn't Osiris. Who knows? Maybe he would have been overawed and not. Right.
Chat's got nothing. You're pathetic, chat.
You got nothing.
You're
hopeless.
pathetic.
Log's not been watching the videos. Of course I don't watch the videos. Why would I watch the videos when I can, like, come here and have Matt personally explain them to me for content? Like, what?
True. I got a funny story to tell you.
All right, here we go. We'll close it out with a funny story from Matt.
Yep. So I won marbles on stream couple streams ago.
You did? Right? Like your own marbles? Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Do you know the rule I have? You probably don't know the rule I have.
Yeah, I do know the rule you have, that if you win, you turn the stream off.
Yeah, so I turned the stream off.
Beautiful.
But Watts had just messaged me to play trials. So I was like, okay. So I turned the stream off, rated Watts, played some trials, but I wasn't on stream.
Yep.
We get into this trials match. The opposite team lose a player, and we're up like 4-0. They happened to be in Watts' stream, and they were just nice. Like, oh, sorry, like, player dropped out, whatever. GG's. And then I go, right, trials of law. We'll ask you a law question. You answer it in stream. If you get it right, we'll jump off the edge. See if you can come back. So we did trials of law, and we said, chat, you can help them out. So we got to 4-4. Like, so whenever I asked the question, they got it right. We jumped off the edge. We got to 4-4. And then I was like, okay, no more helping chat. So we turned chat. You have to get this one by yourself. Turn chat into emo only. And we're like, you just indicate like emo in game when you're ready. We'll undo like emo only. Type your answer in. Like, you're done.
Yeah.
And you have to get this right. They obviously didn't get it right. You know, we won. But it was pretty fun. It was pretty wholesome.
Sometimes we need that. Like, it's especially in trials, where it's pretty high octane and serious all the time to begin with.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. We'll end that. On that wholesome note, we're going to fuck off, and we'll see you next week. All right? For more whatever the fuck happens in the Destiny community over the following week. What do you reckon?
Devil's driveway.
Yeah.
See you next
time. Stay off the Devil's driveway. Rock and roll. Have a good one. Bye.